An arbitrary arrest is the arrest and detention of a person without legal basis, due process, or proper legal protection, often violating fundamental human rights. It can happen when there's no real evidence of a crime, the person isn't informed of the reason for the arrest, or procedural rights are ignored. Arbitrary detention is considered a severe human rights violation. In my previous 4 videos, I documented 3 arbitrary arrests. My first arbitrary arrest led to me being targeted and the weaponization of surveillance. So I had to go into exile for 6 months. I eventually returned to the U.S. to work, obtain an attorney, file a criminal misconduct complaint with the LSP. So I booked 3 nights to recover closed-circuit TV evidence of me being assaulted. The St. James Hotel did not give access to my room, and they did not have closed-circuit TV footage of the incident. Thank you, St. James Hotel, for keeping my room secure. The Hyatt allowed access to my room. Once I got into my room at the Hyatt, I stepped out to buy refreshments. I forgot my COVID mask and had to return to my room. My room card no longer worked. Someone was inside my room. So I went to the front desk and had them change my room from the 2nd floor to the 5th floor. Then I went to buy refreshments. I got back inside my room and opened my phone. Someone downloaded an app with the Spitfire type emoji. They stole a charger. I had 3. I changed rooms, showered, then decided to get a quick bite to eat at Popeyes. When I returned, there was a white powdery substance on a dresser next to the refrigerator. I had to throw away a $7 clearly Canadian blackberry drink I had just opened. I could not leave the room in fear my stuff would be stolen or tampered with. I was then sleep deprived till at least 5:30 a.m. with these types of sounds.
Continues to cause any further issues, you can call us anytime, okay?
Coming from the adjacent room. I then woke up at 1:15 p.m. confused, disoriented, and discovered $600 had been stolen out of the cargo shorts I was wearing. A LG phone was stolen off my nightstand. I also had a second phone charger stolen. My checkout was at 11 and I was supposed to be at work at 11, so I ran out the door to my job. I arrived at work 3 hours late, so someone was called in to work for me. I then went to stay with a friend. I was stalked with harassment the whole night there. My friend left for work at 4:30 a.m., so I was all alone, tired, and wanted to sleep. I was too spooked to sleep, and my last phone charger had been stolen out of my bag somehow, so I decided to get to a safe place and booked a bus. When I got to the bus station, I had a change of heart. I decided to rent a room in a different city/parish. That did not work. I was being harassed from the adjacent room the moment I walked into my room. So I booked the first flight out. My phone died while my payment was being processed, so I had to buy a $11 charger across the street. I wanted to buy a firearm at the pawn shop, but I had to have gone to Walmart to buy bullets. I could not leave the weapon in my room. When I got back, someone spilled sand all over the floor, but I was able to book a flight at 7 p.m. The 2 o'clock flight I'd tried to book was sold out. Here's my flight itinerary. You can see that it says Harlingen Padre trip. At the bottom, you can see there's a 1-hour layover. My cell phone GPS shows my Southwest flight left 10 minutes late and landed 32 minutes late. The falsified records of my 4th arbitrary arrest read, the time of the incident began at 8:40 p.m. The listed suspect was overheard making generalized statements about harming others. He was also observed making empty hand gestures as if he was shooting a rifle. He was observed saying these things out loud to nobody in particular. These actions by the suspect were made as he was waiting at a terminal gate to fly aboard an aircraft. No one took the time to record me, only observed me. I was accused of terroristic threats by other means. When you're on a flight acting sus, people record. Tiffany Gomez is an example of this. Her actions did not get her involuntarily committed. They got her recorded. I Facebook Lived HPD because I felt like they were acting sus.
Can you tell me why I'm being detained again?
Sir, you got a complaint that some other passengers here talking to yourself, saying certain things that made him uncomfortable. You recall that?
No, sir, but thank you. I do now, sir. Thank you.
That's inaccurate. It was a Southwest employee. Her name's on the report, not a passenger. In Texas, police can take someone into custody for involuntary commitment if they have reason to believe the person is mentally ill and because of the illness possesses a substantial imminent risk of serious harm to themselves or others, with no time to get a warrant. This risk can be shown by the person's actions, such as attempting suicide or violence, or severe emotional distress that makes them unable to care for themselves. Are my actions violent, or do they show any signs of severe emotional distress?
So minutes and I haven't done anything. Just waited 20 minutes, 30 minutes for my flight to be late. I guess they were waiting for y'all.
I created this video to document how police and informants can invent mental health issues. I still believe this Facebook Live post saved me from being the 16th body pulled out of a Houston Bayou. But Joel, you're exaggerating. According to authorities, common contributing factors, authorities cite several reasons people end up in the bayous, mental health issues being one.
All right, Joe. Why don't you come with us?
Am I gonna have to be in handcuffs or?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You're being detained.
What's charge or what's?
No charge.
So what am I being detained for?
Officer Black right there. You're being detained. What we're going to do is we're going to have you evaluated. Have you had any kind of psychological issues
No,
before
sir.
in the past?
Nope.
No? Okay. So that's where we're going to be at this time.
Psychological for what?
Correct. An evaluation based
All right.
based on the statements you were making.
What were the statements?
Well, I mean, you made them. You're aware of them. I've had 2 witnesses that verified. So why don't you tell me what you said?
I don't know what I said, sir. I was talking about charges refused, sir.
Talking about what?
Charges refused, sir. No constitutional or no due process and
Okay.
a constitutional right.
Okay. Well, you'll be able to take that up with an attorney if you feel like that's your what you want to do. Go ahead and take your phone off. Put it behind your back. If you need access to my body camera, you can always.
So you said it was for psychological. Why
Correct.
am I going to
You're gonna go to the neuropsychiatric center, and we're gonna have doctors talk to you.
An arbitrary arrest is a violation of the right to liberty, as in life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, and can expose victims to further human rights violations. An extra HPD unit driven by a female was waiting outside Houston Hobby for me. Again, how was the incident over at 9:42? I left the airport 46 minutes after 9:42 at 10, not 9. Here's my involuntary bill where I was given COVID for the price of over 17 grand. I had to stay 72 hours at the first place, then 19 at the second for 22 COVID infested days. Here's the most recent count of bodies pulled out of Houston bayous. Here's a statement made by a police supervisor 8 months earlier. HPD failed to investigate 264,000 cases, but has 4 officers to target me. Jay Prince, a Houston icon, has been targeted by a New Orleans officer for decades. Chad Scott was sentenced while I was in the crazy house.
Couldn't have happened to a better man. Chad Scott was one of the rogue DEA agents I wrote about in my book, The Art and Science of Respect. He is a DEA agent that I believe made an attempt to take my life when I was told to pull over into a dark parking lot of McDonald's. Today, he was convicted on his second trial, and now we have a chance to see if rogue DEA agents get the same time for crimes as regular people that break the law. Chad Scott and Jack Schumacher ruin a lot of people's lives by breaking the very law they honor to uphold. And they still have their flunky affiliates with badges after me till this day. I told them over a decade ago the same thing. No weapons formed against me shall prosper. Although I may walk in the valley of shadow and death, I fear no evil. So I'm looking forward to Chad reaping what he sowed by ruining the lives of so many.
In conclusion, Chad Scott, the self-described white devil, aka the baddest motherfucker along I-12 corridor, was crying in court before sentencing. A real devil would be laughing.